I thought I saved her. She told me I was the first man who ever treated her kindly, the one who gave her a reason to leave the bar life behind. I believed her, every single word. I rented her a new apartment in a decent neighborhood in Bangkok, paid off what she said were her debts, even met her mother on a video call where the old woman cried and thanked me in broken English. A few days ago, I got an email from someone who's been following this channel for a few months now. He said he'd been through something nearly identical, different city, different name, but the same kind of story. He wrote that he'd helped a woman leave the nightlife too. Found her a place, gave her a chance, believed she wanted the same kind of fresh start he did. But one morning, she was just gone, no message, no explanation, just silence. When I finished reading, I sat there for a long while. At first, I felt angry not at her, but at myself. Angry that even after all this time, I still fall for the same words, the same tears, the same promise of change. Then, that anger softened into something heavier. Because deep down, I know we help not just because they ask, but because we need to believe our kindness means something. That's what this channel has come to represent, a place where truth speaks louder than fantasy, where men who've been through the same fire remind each other they're not alone in the ashes. So, before tonight's story begins, I want to say thank you to everyone who's been here watching, sharing, writing from across the world. Your messages mean more than I can say. And if you're new here, welcome. Tell me where you're watching from. Every word you leave helps keep this space alive. Now, let me take you back to where it all started. Manirat said she wanted a new life, our life together. She called me darling, sent me photos of herself smiling in the apartment I furnished. Cooked me meals she said reminded her of home. But what I didn't know, what I was too blind and too desperate to see, was that I wasn't her happy ending. I was just her upgrade, a stepping stone to something better, someone richer. And when she found a wealthier client with a luxury car and a condo in the right part of town, she didn't even say goodbye. She just stopped answering my calls. My name is Harold Benton. I'm 70 years old, originally from Leeds in the north of England. I spent 42 years working construction, laying foundations, framing houses, building homes for families I would never meet. I was good at my trade, reliable, the kind of worker foreman could count on to show up early and stay late. I married Margaret when I was 26. She was a nurse at Leeds General Infirmary, kind-hearted, always putting others before herself. We had one daughter, Emily, who now lives in Manchester with her husband and 2 kids. For most of my life, everything made sense. I knew my purpose. I knew where I belonged. Then, Margaret got sick. Breast cancer. It came on fast and brutal, giving us only 8 months from diagnosis to the end. I watched the strongest woman I'd ever known waste away in a hospital bed, and there wasn't a damn thing I could do about it. When she passed 3 years ago, something inside me died too. The house in Leeds became a tomb. Every room held memories I couldn't face. The kitchen where she used to hum while cooking. The garden she'd spent decades nurturing. The bedroom where I'd wake up reaching for her, only to find cold, empty sheets. Emily suggested I take a trip, get away from the gray skies and the constant rain, maybe go somewhere warm where my pension could stretch further. She showed me articles about British expats retiring in Thailand, living comfortably on modest incomes, enjoying sunshine and beaches and a slower pace of life. At first, I resisted. Leaving England felt like abandoning Margaret's memory, but the loneliness was crushing me. So 6 months ago, I booked a one-way ticket to Bangkok. I told myself it was temporary, just a few months to clear my head, but deep down, I knew I wasn't coming back. There was nothing left for me in Leeds except ghosts. I arrived in Bangkok in late January. The heat hit me like a wall the moment I stepped off the plane. I'd booked a small apartment in the Sukhumvit area, nothing fancy, just a studio with air conditioning and a decent view of the street below. The first few weeks were overwhelming. The noise, the traffic, the constant assault of unfamiliar smells and sounds. I felt lost, unmoored, like I'd made a terrible mistake. But slowly, I adjusted. I found a routine. Morning coffee at a local cafe where the owner, an older Thai man named Somkid, would practice his English with me. Afternoons exploring the city or reading in air-conditioned malls. Evenings alone in my apartment, watching British television shows on my laptop, pretending I was still connected to home. I met a few other expats, mostly men my age or older, all of them running from something. Divorce, debt, loneliness. We'd gather at a pub called the Queen's Head, drink too much, and tell stories about the lives we used to have. That's where I met Tom, a retired mechanic from Manchester with a loud laugh and a cynical view of everything. He'd been in Thailand for 5 years, living off his pension and whatever odd jobs he could find. One evening in early February, Tom leaned across the table with a grin. "You ever been to Pattaya, Harold?" he asked. "No," I said. "What's in Pattaya?" "Everything, mate. Beaches, nightlife, girls. It's where you go when you want to have some fun." "I'm not looking for fun," I said. "I'm just trying to get through each day." Tom laughed. "That's exactly why you need to go. Come on, I'm heading down this weekend. Join me." "What else are you going to do?" "Sit in your room watching EastEnders." I hesitated. The idea of nightlife and bars didn't appeal to me. But Tom was right. What else was I going to do? So that Saturday, I found myself in Tom's beat-up Toyota, driving 2 hours south to Pattaya. Pattaya at night was like nothing I'd ever seen. Neon lights everywhere, music blaring from open-air bars, tourists stumbling drunk through the streets. Women in tight dresses and high heels stood outside every establishment, calling out to passing men. "Hello, handsome. Come inside, have drink. You want massage?" It made me deeply uncomfortable. I'm not a prude, but this felt exploitative, sad. Tom dragged me into a place called Lucky Star, a mid-sized bar with a small stage where women danced in bikinis. We sat at a corner table, and Tom ordered us beers. "Relax, Harold," he said, clapping me on the shoulder. "No one's asking you to do anything. Just have a drink and enjoy the view." I nursed my Singha beer and tried to look anywhere but at the stage. That's when I noticed her. She was sitting at the bar, away from the other women, not trying to attract attention. She wore a simple black dress, her long dark hair pulled back in a ponytail. She looked tired, almost sad, her fingers absently scrolling through her phone. She didn't fit in here. Or maybe I just wanted to believe she didn't. After a few minutes, she glanced around the room and our eyes met. She hesitated, then stood and walked toward my table. She moved slowly, cautiously, like she wasn't sure if she was welcome. When she reached me, she smiled softly and asked, "May I sit with you?" Her English was accented but clear. I nodded, surprised. "Of course." She sat down across from me, folding her hands on the table. "What's your name?" she asked. "Harold," I said. "And yours?" "Manirat, but everyone call me Nee." She pronounced it like knee, and I repeated it back to her, wanting to get it right. She smiled. "You say it very good." We sat in silence for a moment, the noise of the bar swirling around us. Then she said, "You look sad." I was taken aback. No one had said that to me since Margaret died. "Do I?" She nodded. "Yes, like you miss someone very much." I felt a lump form in my throat. "My wife. She passed away 2 years ago." Nee's expression softened. "I'm so sorry. That must be very hard." "It is," I admitted. "Every day." She reached across the table and gently touched my hand. "I understand. My father died when I was 10. I miss him still." We talked for over an hour. She told me she was from Udon Thani, a province in northeastern Thailand. Her family was poor. Her father had been a farmer who died from a snake bite when she was young. Her mother struggled to raise her and her younger brother on her own. "Why did you come to Pattaya?" I asked. She looked down at her hands. "My mother is sick. Diabetes. She needs medicine, but it costs too much. My brother's still in school. I need to make money. Send home every month. Is this the only way? She shrugged. I have no education. I try to work in restaurant, in shop, but they pay only 5,000, 6,000 baht each month. Not enough. Here, I can make more, but I don't like it. What would you rather do? Her eyes lit up slightly. I want to work in salon. Do hair, nails, make people beautiful. Something I can be proud of, you know? That sounds wonderful, I said. Why don't you pursue that? She laughed bitterly. No money to start. Need training. Need equipment. Need place to work. All cost money I don't have. When Tom signaled that he was ready to leave, I stood and pulled out my wallet. I took out 1,000 baht and tried to hand it to Nee. She shook her head. No, please. You don't have to pay me. I just talk with you because you are a kind man. Not many kind men come here. Her words hit me hard. Are you sure? Yes, she said, smiling. Just talking with you make me feel good. That is enough. As I walked out of the bar, I couldn't stop thinking about her tired eyes, her quiet dignity, the dreams she'd set aside because life had been cruel. I thought about Margaret, about how she'd always seen the good in people, how she'd taught me to do the same. Maybe Nee was different. Maybe she really did just need someone to believe in her. I couldn't get her out of my mind. For 3 days, I went about my routine, but every spare moment my thoughts drifted back to that conversation, to the way she touched my hand when I mentioned Margaret, to the sadness in her voice when she talked about her mother, to the hope that briefly flickered when she mentioned working in a salon. On the 4th day, I told Tom I was going back to Pattaya. Already? He laughed. Didn't peg you for the type, Harold. It's not like that, I said, defensive. I just want to check on her, make sure she's all right. Tom gave me a knowing look. Sure, mate. Whatever you say. I drove myself this time, my nerves building the entire 2-hour journey. When I arrived at Lucky Star, it was late afternoon, still quiet before the evening rush. Nee was sitting at the bar, wearing jeans and a simple t-shirt, sipping a Coke. When she saw me walk in, her face brightened. Harold, you come back. She slid off her stool and walked toward me, her smile genuine. I didn't think I'd see you again. I wanted to check on you, I said. See how you're doing. That's very sweet. She gestured to a table. Come, sit, talk with me. We talked for 2 hours. She opened up more this time, telling me about her childhood, about working in the rice fields with her mother before moving to the city. She showed me photos on her phone, her mother, a frail woman with kind eyes, her brother, a skinny teenager in a school uniform. This is why I do this, she said softly. For them, so they have better life. You're a good daughter, I said, a good sister. She looked at me intently. Why you come back, Harold? Really? I hesitated. Because I haven't been able to stop thinking about you, about your situation, about how you deserve better than this place. She bit her lip, tears welling in her eyes. You don't even know me. I know enough, I said. I know you're a good person stuck in a bad situation, and I think I can help you, if you'll let me. Help me how? She asked, her voice trembling. What if I helped you leave this place? I could help you find a new apartment somewhere safer, maybe help you get started with that salon you talked about. She stared at me, disbelief written across her face. Why would you do that? I thought about Margaret, about how she'd always help people, even when we barely had enough ourselves, about how she'd want me to do something meaningful with the time I had left. Because I can, I said simply, and because it's the right thing to do. Nee began to cry, quiet tears streaming down her face. I don't know what to say. Just say you'll let me help. She nodded, wiping her eyes. Okay, thank you, Harold. Thank you so much. Within a week, I'd found her an apartment in Bangkok. It was a studio in a building off Sukhumvit Soi 39, small but clean, with a balcony overlooking the street. The rent was 12,000 baht a month. About 250 pounds. I paid the deposit and the first 3 months up front. When I took her to see it, she stood in the empty room, tears streaming down her face. "This is mine?" she whispered. "It's yours," I confirmed. "You can make it a home." She turned to me and hugged me tightly. "You're an angel, Harold. You changed my life." I felt a warmth spread through my chest that I hadn't felt in years. This was purpose. This was meaning. Over the next 2 weeks, I helped her furnish the apartment. We went to IKEA and bought a bed, a small dining table, a couch. I bought her sheets, towels, dishes, everything she needed to start fresh. She insisted on keeping a notebook, writing down every baht I spent. "I pay you back," she said firmly. "I don't know when, but I promise I will." "You don't need to worry about that," I told her. "Just focus on building your new life." She quit the bar, or at least, that's what she told me. She said she'd found work at a small massage and spa place near her apartment, doing foot massages and helping at reception. The pay wasn't much, she explained, but it was honest work, and she preferred it to the bar. I visited her 2 or 3 times a week, usually bringing groceries or small gifts. We'd sit on her balcony in the evenings, watching the street below, talking about everything and nothing. She told me about Thai culture, taught me a few words in her language. I told her about Leeds, about working construction, about Margaret and the life we'd built together. "You must miss her very much," Nee said one evening. "Every single day," I admitted. "But being here, helping you, it makes me feel useful again, like my life still has purpose." She leaned her head on my shoulder. "You're very special, man, Harold. Not like others who come to Thailand. You have good heart." I felt my chest tighten. "You're special, too, Nee. You deserve all the good things life can offer." She looked up at me, her dark eyes searching mine. "Do you really mean that?" "I do," I said. She kissed my cheek softly. "Thank you for believing me." As weeks turned into a month, my feelings for her deepened. I'd wake up each morning thinking about her. I'd check my phone constantly, hoping for a message. When she called, her voice bright and cheerful, my entire day would improve. "Good morning, darling," she'd say. "How you sleep last night?" "Better, now that I'm hearing your voice," I'd reply, and she'd giggle. She started calling me darling regularly, and I loved it. She sent me photos throughout the day, selfies from her work, pictures of food she'd cooked, flowers she'd seen on the street. "Look what I make for you," she texted one afternoon, along with a photo of som tam, spicy papaya salad. "Come eat tonight?" I went. We ate together on her small balcony, and she laughed when I couldn't handle the spice. "You need more practice," she teased. "Thai food very spicy." "I'll get there," I said, sweating, gulping down water. I bought her things without her asking. A new phone when hers cracked, clothes when I noticed hers were worn, makeup and perfume because I wanted her to have nice things. One day, I took her shopping at Siam Paragon, an upscale mall in central Bangkok. "Pick out anything you want," I told her. She looked overwhelmed. "Harold, this is too much." "Nothing is too much for you," I said. "Please, let me do this." She tried on dresses, shoes, accessories. In the dressing room, she came out wearing a red dress that took my breath away. "How do I look?" she asked, spinning. "Beautiful," I said honestly. "Absolutely beautiful." She bought the dress and several other items. When we left, her arms full of shopping bags, she stopped and hugged me in the middle of the mall. "I don't deserve you," she whispered. "You deserve everything," I replied. I began imagining a future. Maybe we'd move in together. Maybe we'd travel, see the islands down south, perhaps even visit England so she could see where I came from. I knew the age gap was significant, 41 years, but it didn't bother me. She made me feel young, alive, like life still had chapters left to write. I thought she felt the same way. I thought she cared about me, not just what I could provide. I was wrong. One evening, about 6 weeks after I'd helped her move to Bangkok, we were having dinner at a small restaurant near her apartment. She'd been quieter than usual, picking at her food. "Is something wrong?" I asked. She looked up, hesitant. "Harold, I want to talk to you about something." "Of course. What is it?" She took a deep breath. "I have big dream that I think about every day." "Tell me," I encouraged. "I want to open my own salon. Small one, not fancy, just me and maybe one helper. I already find perfect location near Ekamai Station. The rent is reasonable, and I know I can make it work." Her eyes were shining with excitement, more animated than I'd seen her in weeks. "That sounds wonderful," I said. "I think you'd be brilliant at it." "Really?" she asked, reaching across the table to take my hand. "You think I can do it?" "Absolutely. You're talented, hardworking, and people would love having you take care of them." She smiled, but then it faded. "But there is problem. I need money to start. Money for equipment, for chairs, mirrors, products, all the things. I save a little bit, but not enough." "How much would you need?" I asked. She hesitated, looking down. "Maybe 200,000 baht. Maybe little more. I know is a lot." I did the calculation quickly in my head. 200,000 baht was roughly 5,000 pounds. Add another 50,000 baht for a little more, and we're talking about close to 6,000 pounds. That was a significant chunk of my savings, especially after everything I'd already spent on her apartment and living expenses. But when I looked at her face, so full of hope and nervousness, I couldn't imagine saying no. "Let me help you," I said. Her eyes widened. "No, Harold, I can't ask you for that. Is too much." "You're not asking. I'm offering. Consider it an investment in your future. In our future." She started crying right there at the table. "You really mean it? You would do that for me?" "I would," I said firmly. "I believe in you, Nee. I believe in us." She got up from her chair and came around to my side, hugging me tightly. "I love you, Harold. I love you so much." Those were the words I'd been longing to hear. "I love you too," I whispered back. We celebrated that night. I took her to a rooftop bar overlooking the Bangkok skyline, one of those trendy places I normally couldn't afford. We drank champagne, ate expensive appetizers, and she wore that red dress I'd bought her. She looked radiant, happy, more beautiful than I'd ever seen her. "To our future," she said, raising her glass. "To our future," I echoed. She kissed me then, properly, on the lips. It was brief, but tender, and it made my heart race. "Thank you for believing me," she whispered against my ear. "Thank you for making my dreams possible." I felt like the luckiest man in the world. The next morning, I went to my bank and initiated a transfer. 7,000 pounds, nearly everything I had left after paying rent, living expenses, and all the money I'd already spent on Nee. My bank account, which had once held the modest savings of a lifetime of work, was now dangerously thin. But I didn't care. This was an investment. This was love. This was the future Margaret would have wanted for me, helping someone, making a difference, finding purpose in my remaining years. I called Nee after the transfer went through. "The money's been sent," I told her. "You should have it within a day or two." She screamed with joy on the other end. "Harold, oh my God, thank you, thank you, thank you. You are best man in the world. Just promise me you'll make that salon everything you've dreamed of," I said. "I promise. I start looking at equipment today. I make you so proud, you will see." For the next week, she was full of energy and updates. She sent me photos of salon chairs she was considering, paint colors for the walls, logos she'd sketched on paper. Every conversation was about the business, about how she was going to make it the best small salon in Bangkok. I loved seeing her so motivated, so full of life. "When do you think you'll be ready to open?" I asked during one visit. "Maybe 1 month, maybe 2, she said. Lot of paperwork in Thailand, lot of permits. Takes long time. But I work very hard to make it fast. Can I come see the location? I asked. She hesitated for just a moment. Not yet. Still under construction. Very messy. When is ready. You be first person I show. I promise. I accepted that. I didn't want to be pushy or controlling. She was building something, and she needed space to do it her way. But then, slowly, things started to change. At first, it was subtle. Her daily good morning calls became every other day. Her long text conversations became short, one-word replies. Busy today. Cannot talk now. Will call later. But later never came. When I'd visit her apartment, she'd sometimes not be there. I'd knock on her door, wait, and eventually leave. The neighbor, an older Thai woman who spoke broken English, mentioned one day, "Your girlfriend not here much anymore. Maybe 3-4 days she gone now." "Do you know where she goes?" I asked. The woman shrugged. "Maybe Pattaya. I hear her talk about Pattaya on phone." That worried me. Why would she be going to Pattaya? Wasn't that the life she'd left behind? When I finally reached her by phone, I asked as gently as I could, "Ni, where have you been? I've been trying to reach you." "I told you already," she said, sounding irritated. "I'm busy with salon stuff. Why you always check on me?" "I'm not checking on you. I just miss you. I wanted to see how things were going. Things going fine. Stop worry so much. Can I come see the salon progress?" "Not ready yet," she snapped. "I told you, when is ready, I show you. Why you don't trust me?" "I do trust you," I said quickly. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset you." "You too needy, Harold," she said, her voice cold. "I need space. I need to focus on business. You understand?" "Of course," I said, my stomach churning. "Take all the time you need." She hung up without saying goodbye. I sat in my apartment, staring at my phone, feeling a knot of anxiety tightening in my chest. Something was wrong. I could feel it, but I didn't want to believe it. I'd invested too much emotionally, financially, to accept that this might not be what I thought it was. 2 more weeks passed with minimal contact. When she did answer my calls, our conversations were brief and cold. She sounded distracted, annoyed even. The affectionate darling disappeared from her vocabulary. No more photos, no more updates about the salon, just excuses and irritation. "Why you always bother me?" she said during one call. "I tell you I'm busy. Why you don't understand?" "I just care about you," I said weakly. "I want to know you're okay." "I'm fine. Everything fine. Stop calling so much." But everything wasn't fine. I knew it deep in my bones. I drove to her apartment one afternoon, determined to see her, to talk face to face. I waited outside for 3 hours. When she finally arrived, she wasn't alone. She was laughing, carrying shopping bags from expensive stores I knew she couldn't afford on a massage therapist's salary. She was dressed nicely, too nicely, in clothes I hadn't bought her. When she saw me standing by the entrance, her face hardened. "What are you doing here?" she asked, her tone sharp. "I came to see you," I said. "I've been worried. I told you, I'm fine. Why you keep coming here?" "Because you won't talk to me anymore. Because something feels wrong and I need to understand what's happening." She sighed heavily, annoyed. "Nothing is happening. You're being paranoid. Then talk to me. Please, let me come up, and we can just talk." "No," she said firmly. "I have things to do. You need to go." "Ni, please." I said, "Go, Harold." Her voice rose, attracting the attention of people passing by. "You're embarrassing me. Just leave me alone." I stood there, stunned, as she pushed past me and went inside, not even looking back. I felt humiliated, confused, my heart breaking in my chest. What had happened? What had I done wrong? I drove back to my apartment in a daze, barely remembering the journey. I sat in the dark for hours, replaying every interaction, every conversation, looking for the moment where things had shifted. But I couldn't find it. Or maybe I just didn't want to see it. I should have walked away then. I should have recognized the signs for what they were, but I couldn't. I'd given too much. I'd fallen too deep. So I kept trying. I sent her messages, gentle ones, telling her I loved her, that I was there if she needed anything. She rarely responded. When she did, it was cold and dismissive. Okay, thanks. Busy now. I felt pathetic, desperate, clinging to something that was clearly slipping away. Tom noticed. "You all right, mate?" he asked one evening at the Queen's Head. "You look rough." "I'm fine," I lied. "Things with Nee are just a bit complicated right now." He gave me a long look. "Harold, can I give you some advice?" "Sure. Be careful. These girls, they're good at what they do. They make you feel special, make you feel needed, and then when they've gotten what they want, they move on. Nee's not like that," I said defensively. "She's different." Tom shrugged. "Maybe, but maybe she's not. Just be careful, yeah?" I brushed him off. What did he know? He was cynical, jaded. Nee was genuine. She had to be. But doubt gnawed at me, growing stronger each day. Then came the night. That shattered everything. I was having a drink with Tom at a bar in Sukhumvit. It was a Thursday evening, quiet, and we were just talking about football, trying to distract ourselves from the heat and boredom. Tom was scrolling through his phone when he suddenly stopped. "Bloody hell," he muttered. "What?" I asked. He hesitated, then turned his phone toward me. "Mate, I'm really sorry, but I think you need to see this." It was a photo from Facebook, posted by someone Tom knew from the expat community. The photo was from a bar opening in Nana Plaza the night before. In the background, clear as day, was Manirat. She was sitting on a bar stool, laughing, leaning into a man who looked to be in his late 50s or early 60s. European, silver-haired, wearing an expensive watch that caught the light. His hand rested on her lower back, possessive and familiar. She was wearing the red dress, the one I'd bought her at Siam Paragon. She looked happy, relaxed, not like someone stressed about opening a salon, not like someone working at a massage spa, like someone who'd never left the bar life at all. I couldn't breathe. The bar noise faded to a distant hum. All I could see was that photo, her face, her smile, that man's hand on her back. "Harold, say something," Tom said softly. I couldn't. I just stared at the screen, my hands trembling. "I'm sorry, mate. I really am." I stood abruptly, knocking over my drink. "I have to go." "Wait, Harold." But I was already walking out, stumbling into the humid Bangkok night, my mind racing. Was it really her? Could there be some explanation? Maybe it was an old photo. Maybe she'd been forced to go back, just for one night, because she needed money. But I knew. Deep down, I knew. She'd never left. She'd just upgraded her clientele. And I'd been too blind, too desperate, too pathetic to see it. I spent the next 3 days in my apartment, curtains drawn, barely eating, staring at that photo on Tom's Facebook feed. I zoomed in on her, a face, looking for some sign of discomfort, some indication that she was there against her will. But there was none. She looked comfortable. She looked like she belonged there. On the third day, I made a decision. I had to see for myself. I had to know the truth, even if it destroyed me. That evening, I took a taxi to Nana Plaza. The area was packed with tourists and expats, the air thick with music and laughter. I found the bar from the photo, a mid-sized place called Club Orchid. I went inside and found a dark corner table where I could observe without being seen. And there she was, Manirat, my knee, working the room like a professional. She moved from table to table, smiling, touching arms, laughing at jokes. She was wearing a tight black dress, her makeup heavy, her demeanor completely different from the modest, soft-spoken woman I thought I knew. The European man from the photo was there too. sitting at a corner booth. She kept returning to him, sitting on his lap, whispering in his ear, her hand resting on his chest. He'd laugh and hand her drinks, his arm around her waist. She looked completely at ease. This wasn't someone who'd been forced back into the bar life. This was someone who'd never left. I watched for over an hour, my heart breaking with each passing minute. Every smile she gave him was a knife in my chest. Every laugh was a confirmation of my stupidity. Finally, I saw her step outside for a cigarette. I followed, my legs shaky, my mouth dry. She was alone, leaning against the wall, scrolling through her phone. "Nee," I said quietly. She looked up, and for a split second, I saw fear flash across her face. Then it turned to irritation. "Harold, what are you doing here?" Her voice was cold, not surprised, just annoyed. "I could ask you the same thing," I said, struggling to keep my voice steady. She crossed her arms, defensive. "I work here sometimes. Need extra money. You told me you quit the bar life. You told me you were working at a massage spa." She shrugged. "I did quit, but salon cost more than I think. I need extra money, so I come back part-time." "What about the 7,000 pounds I gave you?" I asked, my voice rising. "Where did that go?" "I spend already," she said, not meeting my eyes. "On what? Show me the salon. Show me receipts, equipment, anything." "I told you, it's not ready yet. It's been nearly 2 months, Nee. There's no salon, is there?" She glared at me. "You don't know what you're talking about. Then prove me wrong. Take me there right now." She laughed bitterly. "You know what your problem is, Harold? You think because you give me money you own me. But you don't. Nobody owns me." "I never wanted to own you," I said, my voice breaking. "I just wanted to help you. I wanted to give you a better life." "A better life?" she scoffed. "You wanted to feel good about yourself. You wanted to play hero, rescue the poor bar girl. But I don't need rescue. I need money. And that man in there," she pointed, back toward the bar, "he has more money than you. Much more." I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. "So that's it? I was just a stepping stone until you found someone richer?" She softened slightly, but only slightly. "You're nice, man, Harold. Really. You treat me well. But you're old. You have small pension. You live in cheap apartment. I need more than you can give. I gave you everything I had," I whispered, tears stinging my eyes. "I know," she said, her voice almost pitying. "And I'm grateful, really. But it's not enough. It will never be enough." She dropped her cigarette and crushed it under her heel. "You should go home, Harold, back to England. This place is not for you." She turned and walked back inside, leaving me standing alone in the alley, the sounds of the city buzzing around me, feeling more alone and broken than I'd ever felt in my entire life. I don't remember getting back to my apartment that night. I don't remember the taxi ride or climbing the stairs or unlocking my door. I just remember sitting on the edge of my bed, staring at the wall, feeling completely hollow. Everything I'd believed was a lie. She'd never loved me. She'd never wanted a better life with me. She'd just seen an opportunity and taken it, and I'd been too desperate, too lonely, too stupid to see it. For 2 weeks, I barely left my room. I ignored Tom's calls, ignored Emily's messages from England. I just sat in the dark, replaying every moment, every conversation, looking for the signs I'd missed. They'd been there all along. The neighbor mentioning she was gone for days at a time. Her reluctance to show me the salon. Her irritation when I asked too many questions. The expensive shopping bags she couldn't have afforded. Her sudden coldness when she'd gotten what she needed from me. I'd seen all of it. I just hadn't wanted to believe it. I sent her one final message. Just one. "I really thought you wanted a better life." I stared at my phone for hours, waiting for a response. When it finally came, it was brief and final. "I do, just not with you." I didn't respond. What was there to say? I'd given her everything, my money, my trust, my heart, and she'd taken it all without a second thought. I wasn't her savior. I was just another customer. And when a richer one came along, she upgraded without hesitation. It's been 3 months since that night outside the bar. 3 months since I've heard from her. I learned through Tom, who heard from someone else, that she moved in with the European man, the one with the expensive watch. His name is Klaus, apparently, a German businessman with properties in both Bangkok and Phuket. He bought her a condo in Thonglor, one of the nicest neighborhoods in Bangkok. She's living the life she always wanted, the life I couldn't give her. Good for her, I suppose. I don't hate her. I'm too tired to hate. Hate requires energy, and I don't have any left. I'm just sad. Sad that I let myself believe in something that was never real. Sad that I confused kindness with love. Sad that I thought I could save someone who didn't want to be saved. I'm still in Bangkok. I haven't gone back to England, though Emily keeps asking when I'm coming home. "Dad, you don't sound well," she said during our last call. "Maybe it's time to come back." "There's nothing for me there," I told her. "At least here, the sun shines. My savings are nearly gone. I'm living on my pension now, carefully budgeting every baht. I've moved to a cheaper apartment, a smaller place in a less desirable neighborhood. I spend my days walking along the river, sitting in cheap cafes, watching the world go by. I see other expats my age with young Thai women, holding hands, looking happy. I wonder how many of them are real. I want to warn them, to tell them what I learned, but I know they wouldn't listen. I wouldn't have listened either. Some lessons you have to learn yourself. Some heartbreaks you have to live through. Last week, I took a trip to Hua Hin, a quieter beach town south of Bangkok. I needed to get away from the city, from the memories. I sat at a small cafe overlooking the ocean, drinking coffee, watching the waves. An older man, probably my age, sat down at the table next to mine. He had a young Thai woman with him, laughing at something he said. He looked so happy, so convinced he'd found something real. I wanted to tell him to be careful, to ask himself why she was with him, but I didn't. What right did I have? Instead, I finished my coffee and walked down to the beach. I stood at the water's edge and thought about Margaret, about the life we had. I took it for granted. Real love doesn't come with a price tag. It grows slowly over years, built on trust and shared experiences. What I had with Nee was never love. It was a transaction. She needed money. I needed to feel needed. We used each other. The sun sets over Hua Hin, painting the sky orange and pink. Margaret would have loved it. I think about her more, now than before I met Nee. About the way she'd hold my hand, the way she'd look at me like I was the only man in the world. That was love. What I had with Nee was something else entirely. I've learned a lot in these 3 months. About myself, about loneliness, about the difference between love and need. Grief makes you vulnerable. It opens you up to people who sense your desperation and use it. Being kind doesn't make you special. Kindness should be given freely, without expectation. The moment you expect something back, it becomes a transaction. Age gaps matter because of the power imbalance they create. When you're 70 and she's 29, you're not partners. You're a provider and a recipient. Thailand is not a paradise where lonely Western men find true love. It's a place where transactions happen, dressed up in romance and affection. Some men are okay with that. But I wasn't. I wanted something real, and that was my mistake. I drive back to Bangkok as the sun sets. Somewhere in that city, Manirat is in her new condo, probably getting ready for dinner with Klaus. She's forgotten about me. I was just a stepping stone, and I'm here, driving back to my cheap apartment, my savings depleted, trying to figure out what comes next. But I'm still here. That counts for something. I'm still breathing, still moving forward, even if I don't know where forward leads. I've started going back to the Queen's Head, talking to Tom, sharing my story. Some nod knowingly. Others are still convinced their situation is different. I don't judge them. I just listen. Tom bought me a drink last night. You all right, mate? Getting there, I said. Did you ever go through something like this? He nodded. Years ago, fell for a girl from Isan. Thought we were building a life. Found out she had a Thai boyfriend. Took me for 10 grand. How did you get over it? He shrugged. Time. And accepting I was partly to blame. I saw what I wanted to see. Ignored the red flags. That's exactly how I feel. Loneliness does strange things. Makes you believe in things too good to be true. So what now? Now you rebuild. You figure out who you are without her, without that fantasy. You learn to be okay being alone. I don't know if I can. You can. You're still here, aren't you? Still standing. That's more than a lot of blokes can say. I've been thinking about going home to England. Emily wants me to stay with her. Just until you figure things out, Dad. Maybe I will. Maybe it's time to face the ghosts I've been running from, to grieve Margaret properly. Or maybe I'll stay here in a quieter place. Chiang Mai, perhaps. I don't know yet. I'm taking it one day at a time. Some days are better. Some days I see a woman in a red dress and I'm right back to that night. Those days are harder, but they're becoming less frequent. I've started reading again. Joined a book club that meets at a cafe. It's nice. Gives me something to focus on. I've also started volunteering at a charity that helps street dogs. Just a few hours a week, but it feels good to do something useful. The dogs don't care how much money I have or how old I am. They're just happy to be shown kindness. Maybe that's what I need. Simplicity. Honesty. I recorded a video the other day. Just me talking to the camera. My name is Harold Benton. I'm 70 years old, and I want to tell you about the biggest mistake I made in Thailand. I talked for 20 minutes, telling the whole story. I thought I was saving her. I thought I was different from the other men, but I wasn't. I was just another ATM, and when someone richer came along, she moved on. I paused. If you're thinking about doing what I did, if you've met a woman who makes you feel special, ask yourself why. Is it because of who you are or what you can provide? Because if it's the latter, you're not building a relationship. You're funding a transaction. I looked at the camera. I'm not saying all relationships here are fake, but be honest with yourself. See the situation for what it is, not what you want it to be. I stopped and watched it back. I looked old, tired, defeated, but honest. Maybe that's worth something. Maybe my pain can save someone else. It's late now, nearly midnight. I'm sitting on my balcony, looking out at Bangkok. The city never sleeps. I feel disconnected, like I'm watching from behind glass. But maybe that's okay. Maybe I need this time alone to figure out who I am without Margaret, without Nee, without anyone else defining my worth. I think about the man I was when I arrived, grieving, lost, desperate. I found something in Nee, but it wasn't real. It was a fantasy. The man I am now is different, sadder, poorer, but wiser. I know what I'm worth now, and it's not measured in baht or pounds. I'm worth something because I exist. That's something I'd forgotten. Grief made me forget. I thought I needed to be useful to matter, but that's not true. I matter because I'm me. I hear my phone buzz. It's Emily. Dad, just checking in. Love you. Call when you can. I smile. My daughter loves me, not because of what I can give her, but because I'm her father. That's real. I type back. Love you too, Em. I'll call tomorrow. Maybe I will go back to England. Maybe I need people who care about me. Or maybe I'll stay and build a different kind of life. A quieter one. An honest one. I don't know yet, but I'll figure it out. One day at a time. Because that's all any of us can do. Move forward. Keep walking. Keep breathing. I'm Harold Benton. I'm 70 years old. I thought I saved a woman from the bar life, but she was just upgrading clients. I lost almost everything, but I'm still here. Still standing, still learning, and maybe that's enough. The night is quiet now. The traffic has died down. I stand up and stretch. Tomorrow I'll wake up and start again. Coffee, maybe a walk, visit the book club, or spend time with the dogs. Small things, simple things. I'm going to use my time better. Stop chasing ghosts and fantasies. Start living in reality. Because the truth, painful as it is what sets you free. And I'm ready to be free. Free from guilt, free from shame, free from the illusion that I was ever anything more than a transaction. I thought I saved her, but I was just saving myself from the truth, that I'm alone, and that's okay. Being alone doesn't mean being worthless, it just means being honest. And after everything, honesty is all I have left. So I'll take it, I'll hold on to it, and I'll keep moving forward, one day at a time, one breath at a time, one truth at a time. This is my story, my confession, my warning. I hope someone hears it. I hope someone learns. Because I paid too high a price for these lessons. Good night, Bangkok. Good night, Margaret. Good night, Nee, wherever you are. And good night to the man I used to be. Tomorrow I start becoming someone new, someone wiser, someone free. And that's enough. It has to be.